whole journey start, AJ?
Well, how did it all start? The first mission was really fluky, man. That was the Gaia video. An excellent excuse, I think, for me to go out and really find the beautiful places and get up early and see the sunrises and that sort of thing. But then it became more about exploring ideas with people about like what really inspired them, and for me it was really about authenticity and generating content which was not scripted and just straight off the cuff, you know, like people in the natural environments just sort of saying things as it occurred to them to say them. And from that I'd extract tiny little bits and pieces and quote them totally out of context.
It's a very nice day.
I don't know, can you be deliberate about being natural?
That is a very good question.
I don't know. Fucking I don't know. No, that's a bad answer.
Just straight off the cuff, you know, like...
I'm deliberately natural. I don't know. I really don't know what I'm talking about, actually. Deliberately natural.
Okay, what was it about? It was about authenticity, and it was about inspiration, and it's about freedom. That's the other thing that it's about. And I think, like, you know, a lot of the artists that I met and so on, I think, you know, a lot of people that really value freedom also really value the arts. And so we did a chapter on art in there, and that was really cool.
Okay, but the question is why art is important. When I look inside of me, art is about creativity, it's about a creative spark, and that's in all of us and in the work that we do.
It's about moving out of conformity and moving into a connection, a sense of being. You know, we're on the planet together. There is billions of us. What do we share? I love it when I go to theatre. That absolutely moves me. That takes me out of myself, and I see the human soul laid there.
It becomes more about taking people out of their everyday life and allowing them to just experience potentially a lightheartedness and an eloquent stupidity for a while.
I think everything, life is art, you know. Art, hopefully art can be an expression of love, because you need to take so much care and you need to search so much within yourself what you really want to do, because again it's something you're not bound by anything. You start with something, it can be anything, and you don't have to have any laws or any rules or anything. You can start with something and then you do it your way and it becomes unique. Anything, you put it that way and you look at it and say, wow, I did that, you know. And of course when you get more in the consciousness of creating an object of beauty or of attraction, I think it's again something where while you are doing it, you don't really think, you just feel. It's a feeling. Art is maybe a feeling that is materialized.
I think
helps people to explore themselves and touch areas of life or experience that will encourage them to do other things or help them with things they normally do in life as well, just by touching on new topics.
Mainly spiritually, really. Mainly sort of as a spiritual kind of representing some sort of spiritual form or idea. So it comes out a lot in my life and my art.
It's a statement. I think in our society, it's a statement about who we are, and it's also a statement about where we've come from. There's a language in the soul, and I own the language, and it's just a beautiful thing. You know, like some Zen people go up and touch a tree and they communicate with it. And I can do that with stone.
Every single person who looked at that feels the love in it, they feel the energy in it, but they have a totally different perspective. And to me, that's what art is. Art is kind of like love. It's in the eye of the beholder. If you don't think it's art, then to you it isn't. If you think it is, it's everything. The whole world's art. Clouds are art. You know, the creation of this planet is an art. The balance of the ecosystem is an art. How could it be anything else? And what we are doing, I believe, is channeling that.
If you're practicing your passion, you don't burn out. It just is there, the energy, the life force is there, the heart is in tune. And that's what I want most for us to be able to offer for these young people. So my job is not as an artist here, but just to work, have the pleasure of working with you folks. So I think you're the last of the edge dwellers, the last outlaws, the people who are daring to and determined to, no matter what, live by the edge of their creativity. And that's an art form. And that's my answer.
Yeah, pretty much just went with the flow. Constantly ran out of money, constantly ran out of petrol or gas or whatever, and had to until some money showed up from somewhere until I could go to the next place. So that just made a really nice, fun lifestyle, and met some amazing people and had some really good in-depth conversations.
I guess it's living an inspired vision because A, we like it, and B, hopefully it rubs off on other people and inspires them to do their vision.
Definitely.
And if you don't have those living examples, you know what's wrong with the old system, but you may not know how you could create something that works, that actually succeeds it. But once you see it, it's like, oh, that's simple. I can do that, but I do it this way, and this way, and this way. And it's like encouraging that intelligence, creative intelligence, encouraging creative intelligence in human beings so they ascend to being goddess gods again, as custodians of planet paradise. That's the plot, that's the big picture.
The richness of experience, which is accessible to everyone, through coming into stillness, through coming into an appreciation of the sensations of our own bodies, of our own environments, of the sounds of the water running. It doesn't need to be 20 kPa pumping out the latest beats. That's a reflection. The source is there in all things, and a leaf and a stone and a river and a breath of wind. And that's what Deeper is about for me. It's about learning to appreciate the subtle things rather than the gross oversaturation of consumer culture.
But it takes us to places that, we haven't been much before. But as explorers, some of us have been to those higher dimensions, and that's the idea of exploring, is you have more familiarity with higher dimensions. So when it's crunch time and you have to step up to them, it's like, oh cool, been here before, totally comfortable with the next step, and able to help and guide people along the way too. That's the pioneer spirit, that's the ones that are willing to take the chances and explore new territory, and then be there to help guide others who are probably a little less adventurous. Nice. I'm happy that I'm in that adventure group.
And there's some bees that like to go out and explore, find new things. And so if one of these bees goes out and finds this big bush full of flowers and full of nectar and gets really excited and comes back into the hive and it does this dance, right? And depending on how long the dance is and how passionate the bee is about the dance determines how many bees will follow it to the source of food, right? So if, that's a perfect analogy for what an artist or somebody who's out on the edge looking, that's one of those people, right? One of those people out there on the edge looking around, find something amazing, you come back, and you do this amazing dance, right? And then people will follow you, right? But if you come back and, you just kind of go on, that was cool, nobody's going to follow you, right?
Incredible diversity and brilliance and talent in doing the simple things in so many different, look at the types of music that come out of the different tribes, the types of way of solving, day-to-day life challenges. And if you take the best of everything from every tribe and put it together, you have paradise, and if you take the worst of it, you have hell. And people focus on, well, your Bible says different from my Bible, and it's like, but they also completely agree. So why don't we focus on the agreement parts and really get along, rather than slam each other because of some misinterpreted phrase? It's like,
details, petty details.
Yeah. Big picture, please. And it's just that extreme of dark and light playing itself out to the nth degree, and we'll see the nth degree in not in our lifetimes, in the next few years, is my kind of understanding, because it's accelerating exponentially into madness and suicide and into rapture and bliss simultaneously. So how does that go? Third dimensional reality is based on polarities, light and dark, male and female, all the rest of them. And we're in third dimensional reality to gather as much experience as we possibly can, so we have the information to make the decision consciously to move into love, which is the ticket to higher dimensional realities. And if you don't move into love, then the dark side, as it suicides itself even further, it suicides itself. It finds a lower reality to live in, and as the light sides involve themselves and enlighten themselves, they move into love, which is the portal into higher dimensional realities, and they move upwards. And so Earth is that kind of a third dimensional reality plane existence on Earth, is that is that growing ground where you can grow mad or grow enlightened, and that's free will, eh? What are you going to do? And according to your actions, so you create your reality. It's beautiful, really. If you look at it in the objective, big distance viewpoint, it's beautiful. You have complete freedom to create heaven or hell. What's your preference? And that's interesting, eh? I mean, I don't understand why people would choose hell.
Yeah,
it's funny, eh? It's an odd choice because it's right here. You know, you're in paradise, and you all have experiences of love and enlightenment. And do you value them and cherish them and really nurture them, or do you go back into fear?
I started playing music when I was about 2. I started playing on the piano when I was reaching up like this to play the keys. And I got to a point with the piano where I couldn't really play with other people spontaneously, you know. It became more of a sort of virtuoso instrument, which was fine, but it just wasn't so much fun. And then I got into drumming, went to my first big drum circle. Yeah, everything that I loved about music was there, all of the spontaneity and the accessibility and the inclusiveness and the real connection with a whole bunch of people. It didn't matter if you'd played together before or not, it was, you know, universal language.
I'm just my movement and the sound. That's what I become when I'm playing. People let go and dance and become absorbed by music and by the drum and by the beat that leads music. Then they let go to the point where they can become more of that one, or where they join more with that. That's the word I'm looking for. They join more with that oneness. And that's part of the gift of rhythm and music, is that once you're captivated by it, in a group of people, they start to move together.
The story is that when Creator was finishing creating everything in the world, he'd already created the swimming ones and the four-leggeds and the flying creatures and so forth. All of a sudden he heard boom, 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 and it kept getting louder and louder. Boom, 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 until it was right next to Creator. And Creator said, who are you? And the spirit of the drum said, well, boy, you don't remember? You created me practically at the beginning. I'm the spirit of the drum. And Great Mystery looked at him and said, well, that's nice. Why are you here now? And the spirit of the drum replied, I want to be a part of this thing you're doing. I see all these wondrous things that you're creating. This beautiful Mother Earth, the two-legged people, the four-legged, all the creatures, the standing people, the stone people, everything's so beautiful. And I want to be a part of it.
About that dance between the music and the movement.
Because you keep doing something that's called a rhythm, it keeps coming back until you can do it without thinking, and then you really enter into your own world and you start to express yourself totally freely.
Process of release and letting go.
The moment we start dancing, spirit just inspirits our bodies, connects with whatever's going on in the mental, emotional, spiritual realms, and moves it.
There is a point that everybody sort of suddenly realizes that it's lifting off and it's happening all by itself, and that's what people are waiting for, you know, you're not having to think about the rhythm or count or...
Kind of giving the energy back to the people in the crowd, you know, there's people there, they're feeding you it, you know.
It's like the drummers feeding off the dancers and the dancers feeding off the drummers and sharing that rhythm or that beat or that foundation.
Bigger than the sum of its parts. It's just this hugely powerful thing.
Indigenous drumming is really pretty much like a display of that person's intention for life and creation to keep happening.
The body responds. And there comes a point, if the drums last long enough, if there's a fire in the center, if the people are gathered around, we go back to our primal nature. And that's not a bad thing. That's a wonderful thing. Because it takes us right to the root of our being. And from that place, we can begin to make ourselves whole, to allow healing to happen, to come into a new and different alignment of body, mind, heart, and soul.
So you just started recording? Finished recording? You just started. Uluma, Saole, Uluma, Bulu Tata, Bulumayo, Saole, Uluma, Uluma, Saole, Uluma, Bulu Tata, Bulumayo, Saole, Uluma. Uluma, Uluma, hey, Uluma, 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 hey, Uluma, hey, Uluma, Uluma, hey, Uluma, 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 hey, Uluma, hey.
Feeling that shit, alright?
Do it again. Ba ba blah. That's what it says.
I think it was blah blah black sheep.
Blah blah back sheep.
This is the post fishing sightseeing mission. What do we think about that?
Yeah, well, that's what I expected.
So where are we?
We're about 4 nuts off and 1 more to go.
No, hang on. We're in the middle of nowhere. We're on a sort of a 4-wheel drive track back road in the highlands of South Island. We're all having a good time, eh?
Of course.
Sweet as. Wait a second. Hang on. I've got to get the close up of that, bro. Wait.
Oh, she just...
Slight problem.
Beautiful.
Woo.
Deadly.
Have a look. That's deadly. Deadly.
Deadly. Fucking A, man. That's wicked.
Fucking deadly.
hard to put anything much into words at the moment except the overwhelming intensity of what's just been happening. And the humbling experience of it, actually not knowing anything when it comes right down to it, and having to be in that and wing it on love, basically. To go into a completely unknown area with only your love to guide you through. And just experiencing how powerful that's been, especially with friends and family. Just being in that space of knowing the loss and feeling the tragedy and not understanding why or any of the details about any of that, and seeing how in the midst of that loss and grieving and just being in completely uncharted territory, how the core of love that unites the family, the people, the tribe, the friends of Malia has brought out so much of the best in everyone through these times. And brought out, the human best in ourselves in times of intense difficulty, and intense sadness, and intense love and joy and celebration too. All of that, all trundled together into rapidly changing times, just times of grief and times of ecstasy and times of pleasure and times of support and comfort and love. Yeah, it's completely humbling in the sense that where are your priorities, what's actually important, and this comes through what actually is important in your life when the dearly beloved moves through for what seemed like the most unnecessary reasons for no reason at all.
Is the ultimate surrender, the ultimate death. And I know in the Mayan worlds, a whole lifetime was spent in training for the moment of releasing the body. And it was seen as the peak experience. And the whole potency of it was to be so fully in the moment that the moment the body was taken, there could be an incredible alignment with your spirit and staying with that even while in the body. So World Bridger is surrender. Surrender, surrender, surrender. Absolute bliss if you choose it. And it's a choice. So try that one.
What's come through for me more than anything else is just to allow the sadness and allow the grieving when it is here, which is a big growing for me, but also to hold really clearly focused the joy of this being, this beloved person, this goddess that's blessed our lives, and really make sure that all of those just joyous pleasures and wonders that we've loved in her all this time are not wasted, they power on through us to step up to her level, to carry on her legacy in our lives. And that makes it a beautiful challenge. It makes it a really beautiful challenge and a huge challenge, because she was the stepper-upper. She was my role model and my mentor and my inspiration, as well as many, many, and many other people. So that richness and beauty, that power, that love, that incandescent spontaneity, just joy of living. It's like, okay, factor that in. If that's what you like, factor that in, live it. And that's the flip side, that's the blessing side. Here's your challenge. Can you live the things you love when another person who's shown you them is no longer here to do it in the physical? And that's a beautiful challenge, and that's somehow makes meaning out of what otherwise seems completely random and meaningless and unnecessary. But hey, where you invest meaning and value and love into those situations, it really makes me go to the core of my being and check in as to what's important and how I can make that passing seem less of a waste and less of a tragedy by bringing all of those things of Mali that I loved into the forefront of my life and making sure that stays alive and thrives. Yeah.
And I spend a lot more time being deliberate about, just being natural. I don't know, can you be deliberate about being natural? I don't know. I don't know. I'm deliberately natural. I don't know. I really don't know what I'm talking about, actually. Deliberately natural. Yeah, but actually one thing I do want to say, though, is just talk to that film really quickly.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, because, when I look around and I see all the... I read... Well, for a start, I haven't watched TV, read a newspaper, listened to the radio for 10 years, and that's not an exaggeration. Occasionally I get in people's cars and they've got the radio on. Occasionally I sit in an airport and I'll see a television and there'll be some news on it. But I haven't had those things in my home for 10 years. And whenever I do tap into a documentary which is about what's going on in the world with the Iraq war, with the American government or whatever, and I feel this sense of sort of anger come up, or this sense of outrage and righteousness, and I want to do something about it. 4 or 5 years ago, that's what I used to feel. I used to feel angry, and then a few years ago I felt sad, and now I'm sort of sitting here going, well, I'm kind of almost attached to it, and what strikes me about this whole thing is that there's all this bad news out there, and we keep hearing more and more and more about people talk about it, and isn't it terrible, and what are we going to do in the global warming crisis? But I think, how do you actually create something, how do you demonstrate to people tangible, practical ways of a new way of being, of a new system, of a new way of living, of a new way of being in the community? And I personally think that what would be awesome is to start giving people examples of what it's like to operate from a being-to-being level, to be connected to spirit and to operate from that space. And so, like for people like you who are out there taking messages out into the community, I think it's amazing that you can actually hang with people who are connected, who can talk about love, who can talk about being vulnerable, who can live that way and actually capture that and say to these people who are stuck in these ways of being, in a conventional society, and say to them, hey, look, here's a little pocket of light over here that you might not have ever seen before. Here's people at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday night sitting around the fire, wrapped in blankets, looking at the stars and communing with each other, and they haven't sort of just finished eating a pizza and watching Shortland Street and trundled off to bed and getting up for the daily grind the next day, and inspiring people with examples of how we can actually live a different life, and I think that's really important. It's like taking spirit into the community and using the media channels to deliver it to people. And it's a little bit like, with The Secret, where they talk about, if you're anti-war, don't focus on being anti-war, focus on being pro-peace. Or if you don't want to vote for that guy in the government, don't put your attention on him, put your attention on the person you do want to vote for. So I'm feeling like a tangible way that we can actually sort of support that process is by focusing on being more of, spirit, and then capturing that and sharing it with others. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna get there. Yeah. So I guess I would start off coming out of the muck, like we all have, and then maybe I'll go from vehicle to vehicle, try the different possibilities. How the hell are we gonna get from the Indies to the Andes with only undies and maybe a few backup? Stop it.
This is our fearless captain sailing to the islands.
I forgot which one I need in those islands. If I need to make a harmonious music with the friends, or I need to chop everybody's head off. I forget. Maybe I do both.
Why is music important? Crazy question. Music's important because basically it unifies people, and it's, for me, it's something which can replace what religion has lost. It's spirits communing, so it's very important that we keep that alive, basically.
It comes from inside. It comes from, I think God blessed us with this music, so if you don't use it, then you just lose it. So
it's a good release when you're feeling a bit stressed out about something, just play on the drums or on the cowbells or a drum kit, and it just it can free you up.
That's the most important thing, is having fun. Drummers have more fun, I know for sure. I mean, it's pretty hard to not have fun when you drum, so you just got to get off your bum and drum.
So the plan is sail around all of the islands, all of them, and just show up and bang on my drum and see what happens, and the concept is rhythm is the universal language.
People, for ourselves, drum is kind of meditation, and a lot of people enjoying also drumming because they can they can dance and bring happiness.
I used to take psychedelic drugs at different times in my life, and I got to realise that drumming and dancing puts me in exactly the same state. It's kind of like if you like a trance, but it's a very clear trance because you can walk away from it when you've had enough. You can walk out of that circle, go have a drink of water, chat to people, and then go back in, a couple of breaths, start dancing again, and you're back up into that certain state. That's my journey with it, and it keeps me alive, it keeps me connected. It's this beautiful place in a circle where of all race, religions, genders can mix together and have a sense of freedom for a moment. I've seen people with straight collared shirts come in there, men come in and start doing a dance that they would never ever comprehend. I've seen women, old women, young women, 12, 13-year-old girls walk in who are very tense, and then they shut their eyes and just start to dance and they get into that same state. So that's the beauty of drumming for me, and of really simple, earthy cultural music. South Pacific, India, Asia, they're the places that I've been to, where people just have this joy of dance.
Music, and in particular rhythm and drumming, is it's something which is natural to people, but it's also something which is cultural and something which we've learned from long back in our history, and everybody's kind of participated in it, and we are now taking that just a little bit step further.
Music important because of the future of the young people, and also the people from young people must be touch their life to create them, because music can bring us together, or music can make us happy, or music can help us staying in one community. So every time when we celebrate, or any time in the world, we must use music.
Music helps people to understand more than just talking. So that is how music. You can say that the music is also important in our lives.
drums and Afro-Brazilian rhythms, they have the same origin from African slaves. And so that harks back that it can cross cultures as well. And now you notice the same kind of rhythms in dance music. And I could go and get lessons from a teacher that couldn't speak any English, and I could hardly speak any Portuguese, and I was able to learn just by listening and watching, and I don't know, there wasn't any need to communicate verbally. You could just communicate through music, and that was pretty amazing.
Really nice too.
Music helps people to understand more.
No sé, cerrar.
The little fairy, she goes dancing, prancing, flying around through the forest. She goes dancing, prancing, flying around through the forest. Says hello to the caterpillar man, flies down low where the butterflies can. Every toad, every little creature known see her fly round my head, never come again, 'cause you got to be quiet, 'cause you got to be quiet, 'cause she only comes out if you don't know. You gotta be quiet as you can. In the forest, you got to know how to know. You got to know how to flow. 'Cause Mary, the little fairy, 'cause Mary, our little fairy, now she goes dancing, prancing round in the clouds, through the forest, across the seas, over those mountains, fly